when they felt like when they changed from like a drug user to a drug addict, they were like, I used to do drugs like to go to a concert and have more fun at the concert.
Yeah,
He's like, now I don't. Now he's like, I don't even want to go to the concert so I can just stay at home and do drugs.
right. And you can get
Yeah,
past that. Those like I used to love getting high and watching action movies like Marvel movies or Transformers, whatever. Like it made it so much funner. But like I'm at a place now where I can enjoy movies without any enhancer, but it took a while to
yeah,
get there.
yeah.
You really got to
Dude, I
burn the
used
old
to.
person down.
Yeah, dude. The best was like if like all day you couldn't find anything,
Uh
or you're
huh.
waiting on your check to clear or something, and
Right.
then like your check clears, and then you go get like multiple things that you like,
Uh huh.
and you're
Yep.
going, you're good for the rest of the night. You find a good movie, and you're like, all right, I got
Yep.
this, I got that, I got this, I got there. Like I'm not missing anything that I want.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Those are
But
because there
the
was so many times, man. I remember we'd fucking find a couple GV slots on the ground. We'd
yeah,
share a couple cigarettes, and those kind of were good times too. Because it's like
yeah,
if we
struggling
actually got a
together.
high out of it, we would sit there and enjoy that high. But
Yeah.
then when you had the times where you had everything you want, those are some fucking good times. But then
People that
there's the
say
times where you have everything you want and you still don't enjoy it. That's
people
where it starts to get
people I hate people that get into AA and they think that the right thing to say is that they never enjoyed drugs and they were always bad. There's no bigger lie.
crazy. Crazy.
Then
You know
if
what
that's
bothers me? You know
if
what
that's
bothers me the
true,
most? Huh?
if that's true, if drugs never got bad for you, then you're not what I am. You
If
know,
they
we don't
never
have
got bad
this.
for you.
Yeah,
But to
you're
pretend
not
like
what
it was
I
never
am.
fun is crazy.
Yeah, it was fun as hell. And if it had kept working, like if it kept
Yeah,
being fun and my life didn't get burned down, I would still be doing drugs. And
for
if
sure.
AA didn't work, if I put in the time and I didn't get any peace or relief, I wouldn't go to AA either. Both things had to be true. The drugs went to shit, and the AA helped me out of the hole, and that's why I keep doing it.
Dude, I wish I could have been that guy that did coke like every other weekend.
Right,
But I'm just not. But that's not me. I'm not that guy. I'm not a cucumber. I'm a pickle now. But
dude.
you know what
Whenever,
drives me crazy? You know what drives me crazy that people say in there is my worst day in AA is better than my best day using. I'm like,
yes,
that's
boy,
not true.
yeah, but those are just little like sayings that people pick up on that they don't understand, and they repeat them because they think they sound cool to the newcomer girl in the meeting.
Yeah,
There's a lot of shit people are just like. It's one thing to be
they're
like,
just
look,
sitting stuff.
I probably didn't come up with this, but this is how I feel. It's another thing to just steal one-liners from old timers, learn how to deliver them well, and think that you're sober.
Yeah, yeah. That was super me early in sobriety. That was me like a motherfucker when I first came around.
It'd be like that sometimes, dog.
Thinking that fucking thing. And I remember one time I was in and out early on in my first sponsor, and he goes, I like just came back from a relapse, and I was like a month sober, but I already knew some of the lingo, and I shared, and he goes, dude, you sound like you're 6 months sober, and I go, thank you, and he's like, that's not a compliment,
I'm not 6 months
and he's
sober.
like, yeah, he's like, it's not a compliment. He's like, you're just saying stuff that sounds good. He's like, you're not saying what's going on with you. Like you're
Right.
not being honest about where you're at. And I remember one time I went in there and I was just like, all right, I'm supposed to say what's going on with me, and I just went off with everything that was going on with me. And it was
You
funny because it
peaked
made
on the
everyone
meeting.
laugh, and I wasn't trying to be funny, but it made everyone laugh and fucking. I'm just like unloading all my burdens, and the chairperson stopped me. And like me, someone who's been in the rooms a little bit more now, I'm like, that bitch shouldn't even have stopped me. That was the realest share of that night, probably. You
Yeah,
know,
that
I
it
mean, I
was.
wasn't, I wasn't at like a 10-minute mark or anything like that. I was just fucking unloading what was going on. And me and Bear were talking about this last night. How I hate the people that are like, we're just going to be solution oriented. Did Bill
Right.
W. and Dr. Bob, the first thing they said to someone was their war stories?
Right. Well, listen, you want to stay solution oriented no matter what. That doesn't mean that there's not a solution in what you're talking about where you're at. You want to stay solution oriented. You definitely do. I don't know how that person was
So
saying
what does
what they
that
were
mean? You
saying.
don't tell. What does that mean? You don't tell war stories?
So when I'm telling my stories or I'm at a newcomer meeting, I will tell a little bit about my past just so that person knows that we have the same thing. That
That's
way
what
they
I'm
know
talking.
that that way they know they can trust me when I start talking about solutions. If we
It's
don't
a
have the
war
same
story.
yeah, if we don't yeah, but I use them tactfully. You see what I mean?
You're
So
not only doing war stories.
I'm just trying to show that me and you are on the same page. That way, when I get
Exactly.
into the solution, you'll know that I have the solution for you. That what I have is, you know what I mean? We have to relate
Yeah,
to
will
each
work
other.
for you. Yeah.
Yeah, because like one of the things that happened to me was like, a lot of people are like, they didn't believe people had the amount of time they said they had. I believe the people had the time they said they had. When Bob was like, I got 30 years, I believed it. I just didn't believe he was an addict or an alcoholic the way that I was.
Exactly.
Because nobody
Exactly.
that suffered with the disease that I suffer with, they don't get one weekend. If you're
Yeah.
able to get to it, you do it. It don't take no days off. So when I heard people had like 20 years and 10 years, like I believe they had that time. I was just like, but you don't have what I have because
And you weren't
people
as
like,
bad as me.
well, because we don't go that long. But through their war stories here and there, I slowly come to realize that we did have the same thing. And then I was open to listen to their solution.
So you agree war stories are important. It's just how you go about it.
Exactly, absolutely. They are important. You have to. My sponsorship family calls it a qualifier. So we're qualifying for our addiction or our
Yeah.
alcoholism. And
Yeah.
I'll probably go like 20 minutes, maybe not 20, 15 whenever I'm telling my story. Like
Yeah.
I'll show you that like, and I'm not just saying it because I'm like romancing the youth. I'm
Of
actually
course not.
showing like instances where drugs were more important than my kids or my health or my
Yeah.
hygiene. Like showing that it was taking over. And then I will go into like how I ended up at rehab and so on.
I feel like AA wouldn't even, or the rooms wouldn't even have started if it wasn't for war stories.
You have to be able to relate. A war story,
You
if
have to
used
be able to
correctly,
relate.
you have to be able to relate. Because if you're not sick the way that I'm sick, what the fuck do I need with your solution?
Why would I listen to your solution if we're not sick of the same one?
Right. That's like somebody. I work on Jeeps. I only work on Jeeps. Well, I have a fucking Silverado, so you don't have nothing I need.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're not the
Yeah.
mechanic I need. But when I realize
Exactly.
that we got here in the same vehicle, then I understand that you can help me if I just shut the fuck up and listen to you.
Mhm.
But you can't puke on a meeting.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I
yeah,
feel like so Bill W. and Dr. Bob, who was the first person they met up with?
there was another guy named Bill.
Bob something, right?
No, Bill W. and Bob got together. There was another Bill. It's like the three men in the picture.
Yeah, it was
Is
another Bill or Bob. The third person was Bill or Bob. I feel like another.
a
Yeah.
Bill. It was another Bill.
Bill and Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the first thing they did. I feel like they said they did hours of war stories first.
I'm sure that they sat and related to him. I don't remember that specifically. I don't want to say that I do when I don't.
Yeah.
But I do know the picture, like the famous painting. And I do know that that was the first time that two alcoholics brought the solution to another one.
Here's another thing me and Bear talked about yesterday. So you remember Bill W. Because when you really look at that big book, it's hard to deny that it's divinely written.
Right. Which can be
Do
said about
you
almost
think?
everything.
Do you think when Bill W. had that white light experience, do you think that God uploaded him with that information right then and there in a flash of a second?
I think that probably the white light experience brought him the conviction he needed to employ the solution that he'd probably been unknowingly downloading his whole life here and there. Like he probably came across a lot of this because you got to think the principles of the program are ancient in nature. Bill W. All he did was curate them and prescribe them off label for suffering alcoholics. But I think that he
Mm.
already had a good idea. If anything, when the white light happened, I think it was probably good for him to commit to showing others what he thought he knew. Does that make sense? I
Say
don't
that
know if he
again?
was. I don't think he was downloaded with it at the moment that he had his white light experience. What I think is that he had already come across a lot of these principles, and the
I
idea
just didn't
came.
hear the last part you said.
Which part? I don't know which part.
No, I got what you're saying. Yeah, he had been learning it. Yeah, like through Carl Jung stuff and the ancient
Mm, mm,
traditions, and yeah,
yeah, yes. And I
and
think,
Oxford group a little bit, and
right, and the white light moment might have been like, oh shit, I can use all of these for this, which is,
yeah.
that's still divine. I just don't think he was downloaded with the information. I think that he picked it up as he went. He just realized how he could use it.
Man, I would love to do a three-way call with like you and Bear talking.
Yeah,
So here's
whenever.
another, and it's been like your gram sponsor too. Like we should figure out a way to get a third. I think we can get a third person in here, right?
I'm sure. If not, we could do like mobile calling. Like there's some people that until recently, I haven't done it in the last few months, but like we do big book studies and everything on Zoom
Yeah.
because of how isolated I am.
So we were talking yesterday about how beautiful the third step is, and by doing the third step, it enables you to do the fourth, fifth, seventh, eighth, ninth. It enables you to do those other steps.
Well, each step leads into the next step, like precisely as it should for you to grow. The only ones that we really work every day, and I mean, probably people disagree with this, but it's 10, 11, and 12. That's what you have to be in every day. When you wake up in the morning, you get into 10, 11, and of course you live in 12. But like
What about
you,
1 and 3?
1 and 3, hopefully it's so into you that you're absolutely turning your life and your will over. Like
So you're
before
not
I,
working one every day; it's just already in you.
yeah, but I don't know, man. When you have a lot of time, it's hard. Like, I don't want to say something that like wouldn't work for a newcomer, and I don't want to
Sure.
sound arrogant, but like, I do think that like, I don't even get on my knees. Like when I know that I'm conscious, like I realize I'm awake and I'm still laying there with my eyes closed. That's whenever I start going into my prayers and stuff. And of course, it starts around 1, 2, and 3, but it goes into like 10, 11, and 12 real quick. And like, I think, I don't know, man. It's hard to say. How do you feel about
10,
it?
what is 10 is where you make an amends immediately upon it happening, basically, right?
Right. You're talking about a spot check inventory.
Yeah.
Right. And a spot check inventory is not something that you do at night or in the morning. That's something you do on the fly as you go. Now, as we get into reflecting for the night, we can go into how that made us feel, how we came into that. And the one thing that I try to do is understand that I'm only sober by God. There's no way that I could have done this on my own. That you knew me as an
Yeah.
addict. That's obvious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Turning my will and my life over to God. It's pretty simple whenever you fundamentally understand that the only reason that you're still breathing is because of Him. And I don't mean in like some cheesy church way. I mean that like He actually put His hands on my life and changed me.
Yeah.
After that, I'm trying not to make new resentments. So I'm out in the world and I'm bumping into people. My main goal is to not piss other people off if I'm able. And if I do, and I think about it more than once, because once you revisit it, then it's a resentment and you start coming back on it. I try to fucking hammer those immediately. Like a lot of times it's my kids. I might overreact in the morning when I'm trying to get them to get out of the car or to get dressed or whatever it is. But I try to expeditiously go back and be like, I'm sorry about that. I shouldn't have reacted that way. And the important part is I'm not looking forward to their response. I don't care how they respond. That's between them and God. Me trying to mend that fence is between me and God. So it's like, trust God, clean house, and help others. It's one of those sayings that is very fitting.
Yeah. And that
Yeah.
ties into ego. That ties into a lot of the ego. We were talking about
Right.
ego in the meeting yesterday, and my original sponsor was talking about how he's a father and how his kids and having a wife too, but his kids is a real test in his ego. And then someone else said your ego is being right size, not
Right.
being too big, not being too small.
Yeah.
And then
Because thinking,
I loved it because I finished the meeting and I said, I think we were talking about what were we talking? Oh, we were talking about humility, and I was like, I'm the most
right.
humble guy in the room, which is my
Right.
favorite joke ever.
Right. Which is funny. But the thing about that you were just touching in on, thinking greatly of yourself or thinking poorly of yourself is still inward thinking. It's still selfish and self seeking.
Mm-hmm.
They're two sides to the same coin. So you could think I'm a piece of shit, I'm a dumbass, I'm never gonna get AA. You're still thinking I'm me. You're not outside of yourself whenever you're shitting on yourself or building yourself up. And the only way for an alcoholic to truly get outside of themselves is to turn their life and will over to God and help other alcoholics.
Helping out alcoholics, which is
But
12.
yeah, you're right. And you live in it. 10, 11, and 12, you live in it. You got to start running them spot check inventories. You got to start practicing the principles in all your affairs. And you got to help other people.
Dude, I just had such an epiphany, bro. I'm like, I can't believe I'm sitting here talking to Jody Sapp this deep about AA. And
Right.
like, you definitely, you know more, but I know enough to where I'm able to have this conversation with you. And it's
Right.
beautiful. It's beautiful, man, because it's like, there's the part of like, who would have ever thought we'd be sitting here talking about AA when it comes to early in our relationship? And then the thing that I love too, is me trying to bring you into AA
Yeah.
because I think of God, you know what I mean? And you're like, no,
Yeah.
no, no. And then you ultimately ended up in AA.
Yeah.
And like I said, I love that. Like I love that we're both sober. Like I feel like a
Me
lot of
too.
people would be envious that you're the one with almost 10 years and I got less than a year, but I don't give a fuck about it. I'm just glad that we're both in.
Look, dude, after you work the step, like you go out of your way to work the step, whatever time you get out of connecting with God, that's just luck at that point. Time is luck.
Yeah,
Some guys get 50 years because their health is better and they live for that long. Of
yeah,
course, you have to do the work. You have to stay in the now. You have to help other alcoholics. I'm not saying you don't, but like anybody can die at any time, car
yeah.
accident, whatever. As long as you've worked the steps thoroughly with your heart, then you're just as sober as anyone else. Technically, is how I
You're
feel.
not egotistical about your time at all, which is good because there's a lot of people that I see around here that are. But the main thing I'm trying to say is it's beautiful that me and you are both. Man, we used to
I
be
love
on the
it,
ground. We used to be looking through the carpet for drugs, and we
dude.
both found this on our own. And here we are talking
Well,
about the
just
steps.
it
It's
just shows that
beautiful.
we're actually compatible as friends. That no matter which level we're on, we still connect. It's a good thing. It is beautiful.
It's beautiful. Well, it's
It's
funny too
super.
because not that long ago, I'm sitting there hitting nitrous, and you're
Uh
still
huh.
talking to me. You
Right.
didn't stun me. You didn't
No, I
stun me.
don't. No, I don't play those games. I think that like the closer I can get to a sick and suffering alcoholic, either one of two things will happen. You'll be an example of what not to do, or I may be an example for that person of what to do. It's a
No,
win-win.
and you were an example of someone. And I tell you, and to be fair for anyone out there listening, you wouldn't have came in the camper and hung out with me while I'm sitting there doing drugs, and you
No, I
shouldn't
would not.
have, and you shouldn't
No,
have,
no.
but on a FaceTime, you're not like, yeah, I'll FaceTime with you for sure.
Yeah,
Is what
I
you do.
try not
Yeah,
to. I try not to be too judgy.
you're really not.
I try not to be. I don't like how it makes me feel later on. Like sometimes it feels really good in the moment to come down on somebody and judge them. But like when I'm going to sleep or I'm in the shower, I get the like an emotional hangover. Fuck
Hmm.
that. That shit feels bad. That's worse than coming down off meth.
It's funny how AA does that to you, where you do start to feel bad about lies. You start to
Right.
feel bad about stuff and it's funny because I think that like it's something that we'd always feel bad about, but we didn't recognize that we felt bad about it. We didn't know. You
Well,
don't. It's just
so
like it's like when you said if your room's clean, you're gonna notice that thing on the floor.
that's what I
If
was gonna
your
say.
room's
That's
filthy,
what I
you're not
always
gonna notice that one thing.
because it's just another thing in a pile of trash that is you or
Yeah.
me.
I love that. I love that little saying. It's another thing in a pile of trash that is you. I love it. That's a fucking quote right there, dog. It's
Yeah.
another thing in a pile of trash that is you.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's a Jody quote right there, dog.
I
Did you,
appreciate it.
did you, you,
But
came, you came up with that. I know maybe not the concept, but you came up with that jumble of words right there, didn't you?
yeah, I think that was just
It's
right
another thing
now.
in a pile of trash that is you. I'm going to quote you tonight at the fucking meeting with that.
Well, I appreciate it. But I'm just good.
Dude, I quote you more than I tell you about it sometimes, but I quote you up. Dude, there was when we first started talking a couple months ago, there was a time where I feel like people probably started to get annoyed because there was like 3 shares in a row where I shared what me and you had talked about.
Well, if you're sharing from your heart and you're in the solution, man, fuck what people think. Fuck them.
Oh, you know I don't.
Good. And I am happy that you're sober.
My
And
phone's about to die. I want to charge it a little bit before I head to this meeting.
I love
And
you.
when I
I'm
go to
done.
the house, it's gonna cut it off.
This is literally the last shrimp.
Hey, we still did 50 minutes though.
Yeah, and this is we peeled all the shrimp too, bro. This is the last one.
Still
That's a
shrimp, man.
meeting.
We're
I
shrimp
love
to our core, dog. That's why this is talking about like peeling away the fucking our hard shell, bro. Getting down to our soft shrimpiness
shrimp,
inside.
shrimp, shrimp life, dog.
We're peeling away the hardness, bro. Getting down to the soft shrimpy part.
We're like onions, shrimp onions. There's layers to us.
Fucking, we're like, I'm like an onion.
Anya. I
I
love you. I got to clean this mess
love you,
up.
dog.
Good
I love you,
conversation. I
man.
enjoyed it.
Every time.